All right, back to Will It Run, the 1955 Farmall Cub by the book. Last week, we removed the spark plugs and poured a mixture of 1/2 gasoline and 1/2 light lubricating oil into each cylinder. Then we removed the valve cover and flushed the valve and valve operating mechanism with the same mixture. And then we crank the engine over rapidly until the excessive oil has been blown out of the spark plug holes. This operation will loosen any tight piston rings and will wash old gummy oil from valves and pistons. We skipped step 4 because we don't have a magneto. Then in step 5, we drained the crankcase and flushed out with kerosene. Well, I didn't have any kerosene at the time, so now I've got kerosene and all the parts we need, so we're going to go from there. All right, and how I'm going to go about flushing this oil system is I'm going to put both plugs back in, the oil fill plug and the cap right here for the oil filter drain, and I'm just going to pour a gallon of kerosene in there, let it sit, maybe slosh it back and forth, rocking the tractor, and then I'm gonna drain it again, and it'll probably get most of the nasty clumps out. That's all we're really worried about, because oil does degrade with time, even though some folks don't believe it. All right, I'm going to pour a little bit in this oil filter housing. Oh, that just kind of goes into the oil pan, right? Oh, well, it sounded like it did. It might just be easier to put it all down there. A little more in there. All right, now we're going to pour some down our oil fill. Since we can't let the filter have all the fun. All right, that's got all of it in the oil pan. Got the tractor out of gear. Oh, somebody put on the parking brake while I won't look at it. That was probably me. All right, let's drop the oil and see what it looks like, or the kerosene at this point. Well, I hate y'all missed that, but that was just as nasty as I expected. So I'm gonna put this cap on. And I'm gonna not put it as tight as the last guy had it. I think that's a gracious plenty tight. And now we're going to pull the drain plug, see what that looks like. All right, so that kind of finishes out number 5. Now we're going to move on to number 6. Be sure lubricating oil and filter has a new element before starting the engine. We're going to wipe off this. Oh, there's a little gasket there. Probably need to hang on to that. We're going to wipe off this sealing surface and wipe off the gasket. All right, clean as a whistle. Here's the Wix part number for the oil filter for this tractor. And it just sits right there. So I was wondering how it sealed off, but it actually come with a new gasket from through Wix. So, look. So we'll set that right there. And reinstall our bolt and washer. Sealing washer. Tighten this back up with a 3/4 inch. All right, I think that's a gracious plenty tight. And we'll drop the drain plug in the kerosene and oil mixture. And re-wipe it off. Snug that down. Now we're going to take another trip down here to the shed. I'm pretty sure there's almost a full gallon of Rotella down here, 30 weight. We'll start with that, and then we'll break open the new bottle of Rotella 30 weight. Them little solar powered lights sure are nice. All right, T1 SAE 30. Got a whole gallon of it. No, half gallon. It'll get us started. Wish somebody would fix that tire. Now, the one thing I seen that missed, it never give you any instructions on refilling the oil. So we're gonna refill the oil before we try to start this motor. That good dinosaur juice. Alright, we'll wipe the dipstick off, check the oil, and see where we're at. Supposed to be between low and full. So we'll crack up another bottle of oil. Alright, I think I got us halfway between low and full. I'm not 100% sure. That oil's so clean. I think we're right at full. We can always add more later. All right, before I try to do anything else, I'm going to try to get this lifter cover back installed. I'm surprised that didn't fall in the bucket of motor oil. Now you don't even have to use a special offset wrench, but I just used it because it was the first thing I could find. Looks like I bet you that other wrench is in that oil bucket too. All right, try slugging this down again. All right, I can't believe I have failed y'all on this next step number 7. Install the spark plugs after cleaning and setting gaps. I do not have feeler gauge to check the spark plug gaps. It's at work. So we're going to clean them and put them back in the motor because it was running when they parked it. I think it'll be fine. So a lot of people don't know you can actually clean spark plugs. This is a very similar to a sandblaster. It has sand inside it, and then you insert the spark plug into this hole, and you hook your air hose up right here, and then that button controls the airflow. So we're going to fire this thing up, clean all 4 spark plugs, and show you what a difference it makes. That's number 4 spark plug. Here's the last one. I don't know how many of y'all have seen because it kind of quit recording for whatever reason. All right, and that makes 4 clean spark plugs. This was more of a practice back in the day when engines ran dirtier, and it's a whole lot different now. You can run 100,000 miles on a car on a set of spark plugs compared to taking them out and cleaning them every, I guess 5,000 miles, however long. You probably need to clean these on the farm, I don't know, maybe once a week if the motor was wore out, or even more. And then after you get done cleaning the spark plugs, you really need to blow them out with some compressed air so you don't make sure none of that sand gets down in your engine. So we're going to pop these spark plugs in, and I haven't finished the carburetor yet, but we're going to try to get this thing to hit off starting fluid. So we'll see what we can do. All right, got the ignition system back together. Let's give this thing a little snort and spin it over and see what happens. All right, let's spin it over and see what happens. All right. Looks like we're not getting spark. So I think next time we'll be installing the carburetor and checking out the ignition system other than the plugs. All right, y'all tune in next time.